So when Jesus rode into Jerusalem on a donkey and the crowds laid down the palm fronds, it was symbolic of his preparation for the making in order for him to fulfill his life's purpose. And today we're going to do the same thing with we're going to do a sacred rose blessing. And it's going to prepare us in consciousness from living to express our greater purpose and fulfilling our great limitless possibilities that are always within us. So we're going to be using the rose as symbolic through the talk. And so it's a short talk because it's really about the ceremony, the experience of the rose. And we're using this as a metaphor, the rose and the sacred gardening, as a metaphor to support the idea of our arising in consciousness, our awareness, to the greater purpose and possibilities within each and every one of us. Each and every one, and for the whole world. Because we always begin, as we know, with our own selves, and that always expands and helps heal the whole entire planet. So I want to begin with a very short story, and it was about a man that was walking along a familiar street, and he noticed that there was a new shop that he had not seen before. And he walked into the shop and found behind the counter an angel. And he asked her, "What does this shop sell?" And she said, "Oh, everything your heart desires." And he said, "Well then, I want peace on earth. I want unending love, limitless possibilities. I want wholeness, health, prosperity for all of humankind." And the angel said to him, "This must be your first time in the store, because we don't sell flowers." It's not a joke. We don't sell flowers, we sell seeds. So, this morning, we're going to look at the idea of planting and nurturing rose seeds. And now you may not know the roses do actually grow from seeds. I did look that up on the internet. They do. So just bought them in the grocery store. They do grow from little seeds. So, for a moment, we're going to look at two sacred gardening principles. So we have two principles that we're going to go over briefly this morning. And it's important to understand these in raising roses and also in raising our consciousness. Because this is always going to be about our consciousness, our beliefs, our awareness, our emotions, every aspect of our essence. And in doing this, this is arising the greater possibilities within us and then for our world. So the first principle that is required is the one that everyone loves: change. Change is required. It is required. First, in order for a seed to become a flower, it must change from a seed to a seedling, and then it blooms into a rose. And that is in order for us to grow into our greatest spiritual purpose and possibilities that are within us. We must expand from right where we are, right here, right now. You know that we can't expand from the past. We can't expand from the future. We can only expand right here, right now, and that essence within us is our seed. It is our seed. And many of us want to change our lives, yes? Yes. But we don't want to change.
Right.
We want our lives to be different, but we don't do anything differently. So it's maybe time to ask ourselves, how can I see this differently? How can I show up in the world a little different? What change can I make within myself? So we must be not only wanting to be different in our lives, but we must be willing to step out and really make the decision to change, to be different, to see it differently. It changes everything. And that is really what our world is in a crisis, looks like, right now. And this situation is calling for us as humanity, as humankind, to step forward and, as Gandhi said, be the change that you want to see in the world. To be the change. Not just to want it, but to actually take those steps forward. So futurist Barbara Marx Hubbard says that crises are evolutionary drivers, which I always love that phrase. So crises are evolutionary drivers, and they have always been preceded by evolutionary shifts, because they cause us to change. You ever have something take place in your life and it feels like a real crisis, like really very serious, but it is the exact thing that was necessary for you to move forward, to express more of the greatness, of the limitless possibilities that is in the essence of each and every one of us. And that is the part of seeing it differently. And right now, globally, humankind is being called upon to shift. And to look at what we think, what we say, how we act, how we interact with one another, how we treat Mother Earth. I'm glad we're having our recycling thing. It makes me so happy, because it's part of taking that responsibility and doing something, and actually doing something instead of just talking about it. The seed does not grow and it cannot change if nothing is given to it, if it just remains in the seed form. Correct?
Yes.
So that rose can never come forth unless it is in the process of change, unless it is watered by that faith and watered by the trust in knowing that something greater is going to burst forth. So we are standing, each and every one of us truly are standing on a precipice. And it could be critical that we change, as it is to the seed, because that essence within us that wants to come forth and it wants to bloom as our greater purpose, and each and every one of us has this essence within us. It's just like the seed in the rose. Everything's contained in the seed, and unless it is nurtured and unless it moves into change, it cannot blossom. And it's the same for each and every one of us. And here's the really cool thing, is that when we are really willing and ready to do this, the second principle of sacred gardening then comes into play. And that is, change unlocks the essence. Change unlocks the essence. Isn't that interesting? It's very true. As the seed changes from the seed to the seedling to the plant, the essence of the rose, which was contained in the seed all along, just hidden, becomes more fully expressed. Are we willing to change? The more of our essence, which was there all along, if we are willing to change, the more fully we can then express the truth, the beauty of who we really are. And we all really, it serves us, it's so important for us to really understand that there is a beauty within each and every one of us. That essence of God that Carol prayed on, God is within one, there's only one. So that essence of goodness, of love, of joy, of peace is within each and every one of us. Are we ready to let it bloom?
Yes.
To let it bloom? Yes.
Yes.
Ready. I'm so ready.
Yes.
I am so ready. I can hold in my hand the essence of a rose, which is a seed. And the seed is tight. It is contained. It is restricted. Its essence is inside of the seed. But the seed state is really locked. It's locked. The whole essence of the rose is inside that seed. But with each change of the seed, more of the essence is unlocked. So the seed first opens, then sends roots shooting down into the earth, and then it shoots up through the surface of the soil. And from those shoots, the stalks, and those buds become the rose. And so in each stage of becoming, because remember, we're always becoming, spirit is always becoming more of itself through creation. In each one of those things, the essence of the seed is becoming more and more expressed. And so that is for all of us to know, that each step that we take forward, that more of that essence within us is being expressed. And it is good. We say God is good. That's what we believe. God is good. There's no opposition to this good in God. So if God is good and that is our essence, then that essence is so good and is just waiting for us to recognize it so it can be expressed. It's a process. It's a process. So sometimes I call them baby steps because that's what they feel like. But they're steps in the right direction. Direction, as we talked about last month, of feeling right, feeling in integrity, feeling in alignment, so that we can be more of what we really were meant to be. And given time and the proper conditions, a rose from the seed is exquisitely formed. It is exquisitely formed. And so it is with us. The essence of magnificence and possibilities is already present. And that's where our faith and our trust comes in, to know that within us all is present. It's just clearing away the beliefs, clearing away the stuff that's in our way, the doubts, the fears, all of that. Just clearing it away as gently, as easily as you're comfortable with. This essence was planted within us at our inception. At our inception. And Jesus and other great avatars have modeled this for us to see through their love, through their givingness, through their allowing their greatness to open up and lead the way. So we must nurture our God selves. Nurture our God selves. And we do this. We're doing it right now. We do this through regular prayer. We do this through meditation. We do this through contemplation. We do this by coming into community like we are now with like-minded people, where we can express who we are, and they get it. We don't have to explain it. You know? We don't want to ever go into that whole thing. But you don't have to explain. Just be. Just be the individualized beauty that each and every one of you truly is. Just be it. And so we come into community so that we are nurtured, we are fed, and then we can hold that in our heart as we grow and expand that seed within us, our essence, and allow it to bloom as we go out into the world. That's how we change. That's how we start that whole change process going, by being that change, by being nurtured first ourselves. Like the seed has to be nurtured. So we nurture ourselves. We love ourselves. And then we are ready for this limitless possibilities, this infinite world of, and it's there. There's so much good awaiting us. So much good awaiting us. Step. You have to take that little step. Open up to it. Open up to it. And remember that our teachings here tell us that all things are possible in God. If all things are possible in God and we are expressions of God, then how could it not be within us? All things are possible. Whatever we can dream, we can achieve. Absolutely. I really believe that. But first we must step out in that faith with trust that this is really the truth. This is really the truth. This is our truth. It's not the truth about everyone else around us, but it's the truth about me, myself. Bring it home. Bring it in. Bring it individualized. Hold on to that within yourself and nurture. and love who you are. And it just spreads automatically. You start to bloom. You start the whole growth process. Like change, sometimes, you know, like the seed has to crack really open, sometimes we have to have what looks like, and we talked about this last week, breakdown in order to have those breakthroughs. And it's very true. Sometimes it feels like everything is you're just breaking down, everything. But from that, staying anchored with that essence within us, aligned with the great I am, that's when we can really have the breakthroughs, and all of the guidance is present. Everything we need is present. It's present within us. It's present. And so that's when we start. Now, sometimes we have to retreat a little bit to take root, to get really grounded and anchored in the spiritual truth that we speak about and really contemplate it. That's where the spiritual practices come in. Really anchor ourselves in it. And then we begin to sprout. When we're really anchored in that spiritual truth, knowing that God is all there is and that God is good, not just words. These are, as I say, practical tools. This is a spirituality that is absolutely usable. It is friendly. It is absolutely loving toward us. So use it. And then our essence, our divine perfection begins to bloom. So I'm not going to go into a big, long talk this morning because we do have this beautiful ceremony that I want us to be a part of, because it really is kind of lovely, and it's very symbolic. It's symbolic. And as we move through the rose blessing in a few moments, your mission, each and every one of us, because we're doing this together collectively, your mission then is to contemplate the divinity within you. So think about the divine within you. And your mission in this world, you, each and every one of us, have a purpose, a life purpose. And no one is left out. Everybody has a purpose. And we can shift and change so that more of who we really are can blossom and come forth in the beauty that we were intended to blossom and to be, truly. And the truth that Jesus came to this plane to tell us about, the truth that he modeled, this role that he modeled so beautifully for us. And Ernest Holmes wrote, "Plant love in your garden. Kindness and sympathy flow from the heart of love, and human goodness follows divine realizations at every turn in life's road." We each need to do this, because the world needs us to do this. We are the light bearers. We are the souls that came here, which would be in this room, to hold the light, to be the light. So it is very, very important for us to nurture ourselves, that essence within us. So when we do that, when we nurture ourselves, we allow that divine essence to bloom, to come forth even more and more. Because remember, it's limitless. It's not constricted, it's limitless. So more of who we are starts to show up, and it can be quite mind-blowing when we step out and we say, "Yes, God, yes, I'm ready to bloom." And just by that affirmative saying yes, all kinds of things show up to support you. That's how the universe works. That's how the law of cause and effect works. That's how it works. So right now, I'm going to have Valerie come up, and she's going to start off our little rose ceremony.